Okay, let's get into it. We're tackling a real cultural moment today. Madonna's 1992 book, Sex.
hmm Yeah, it's one of those things, even if you haven't actually seen it, you've definitely heard of it. You probably have an idea about it.
Totally. And you likely have, some kind of image in your head already.
Right. So what we want to do in this deep dive for everyone listening is kind of look past maybe the initial shock value or the reputation.
Yeah, dig into these specific bits. We have the excerpts, the images,
Exactly. See what's actually there.
and just the object itself is something else, not your average book.
Oh, definitely not. That metallic mylar wrapping.
Right. And the spiral binding, it was like, it felt different in your hands, almost like handling evidence or something classified.
It was making a statement before you even opened page one, wasn't it?
For sure. It signaled this wasn't going to be, conventional.
The format was the message, in a way,
Yeah.
or part of it.
So that's our goal here then. Let's move beyond just, wow, controversial, and try to figure out the core ideas, the artistic choices in these pages.
What was she trying to say? What was the aim?
Precisely. What do these pieces tell us about her intent and maybe the cultural vibes back then?
And it wasn't just her, right? We should mention the team.
Oh, good point. Yeah, the title page lays it out. Stephen Meisel doing the photography.
Fabienne Barron, art direction. Glenn O'Brien, editing.
Callaway producing it, Warner Books publishing. I mean, these were heavy hitters.
Absolutely. It underlines that this was a very polished, deliberate project, not just, random snapshots, a considered piece of art involving major players.
Okay, so let's dive in. The foreword. Right off the bat, sentence 1, all caps. This book is about sex.
No messing around there. Sets the tone immediately. Unapologetic.
And then she draws this line. Sex is not love. Love is not sex, but then adds, but the best of both worlds is created when they come together.
Mm-hmm. That separation, first off, that was pretty bold.
How so?
Well, it kind of pushed back against the idea that sex always had to be tied up with romance. It allowed for exploring just the physical act, the power, separately.
Which fits with her whole challenging traditional roles thing.
Exactly. But then bringing them back together as the best adds complexity. It's not saying one is better, but that their union is like the ideal.
Then she has this thought on love. Love is something we make. Pass it on. It sounds almost like instructions.
Yeah, it frames love as active. Something you do, not just feel. And something to be shared, spread around. Dynamic, not passive.
Okay, but then right after that, boom, another all caps section. This book does not condone unsafe sex.
Yes.
Crucial.
If I were to make my dreams real, I would certainly use condoms. Safe sex saves lives. Pass it on. Given it's 92, the height of the AIDS crisis, that feels really direct, really responsible.
It absolutely was. Necessary, even. It kind of headed off the criticism that the book was just being reckless. It put safety right there, front and center, even within these fantasies. But then, almost immediately after that responsible message, she writes, "Nothing in this book is true. I made it all up."
Yeah. That line.
It's such a curveball, right? Like, wait, what? How do you read that?
It's super interesting. It basically says, don't take this as my diary. It's performance, it's persona, it's fantasy, even though it's her in the pictures.
So it creates distance, artistic license.
Exactly. It lets her explore these things without being tied to them as literal truth. It plays with that whole idea of celebrity and image, what's real, what's constructed.
Okay, let's shift to Dita. There's this poem presented under that name. Who or what is Dita based on this text?
Dita seems, well, complex. She's presented as a mistress, a lover, a sorceress, a heart's magician. It's not one single role.
Like different facets of desire?
Kind of, yeah. Like she
Yeah.
embodies different dynamics you find in relationships. Power, intimacy, magic, maybe. It's like she's playing a character to explore those things.
The poem has these lines that seem to contradict each other, like, I'm not a witch, but then right after, I'll be your sorceress.
Right. That's a fascinating bit. It's like rejecting the negative stereotype, the witch, but then immediately reclaiming a similar kind of power, but on her own terms. The sorceress sounds more intentional, maybe more alluring.
Less about hexes, more about enchantment.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a subversion. What do you think?
I see it as saying, I'm not the scary thing you imagine, but don't underestimate my power in this realm of intimacy. And then you get that line, I'll hit you like a truck, which sounds pretty aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Paired with, I'll give you love, It's a real contrast, a whiplash almost.
It is, and I think that's the point. It digs into how relationships can have both dominance and submission, aggression and tenderness all mixed up. It's not just one thing.
It suggests intimacy isn't always soft and gentle.
Exactly. It can be intense, conflicting forces together. Putting those lines side by side forces you to see them as part of the same whole.
Now, visually, this poem,
Hmm.
it's got this dark background, kind of textured with random letters and numbers scattered around. How does that play in?
Well, the darkness creates mood, right? Mystery, maybe the subconscious.
Yeah.
And the letters, numbers, they feel a bit like code or fragments.
Like broken thoughts. Or just chaos.
Could be either. Maybe the unpredictable nature of desire or things left unsaid. It adds to the whole enigmatic vibe of Dita. Makes it feel less straightforward.
Okay, moving on. There's a section called Pillow Talk. Very candid thoughts here about what happens after sex.
Yeah, this part feels refreshingly honest, actually.
It talks about how varied it is for people. Some laugh, some cuddle, some feel, I don't know, awkward or like they should be doing something.
Right. It pulls back the curtain on those moments. It acknowledges they aren't always like the movies, It could be messy, funny, uncomfortable, real.
And it mentions different views on noises during sex. Some find screaming annoying.
Yeah.
Others want that kind of, I guess, validation. And then there's that anecdote, super blunt, about smacking a partner for being too loud.
That one definitely jumps out. It's maybe darkly funny, but it really hammers home how personal and subjective sex is.
What one person likes, another hates.
Totally. And it kind of points to the need for communication, maybe, even if the example itself is, well, extreme. It shows there's no single right way.
The picture with this text is interesting, too. It's like layered and distorted, blurry.
That visual distortion could mirror the jumble of feelings after sex, couldn't it?
Like things aren't clear.
Yeah, or the different layers of experience, what you felt, what your partner felt, what you expected versus what happened. It visually echoes that complexity the text talks about.
Then we get into something really personal. A memory about childhood curiosity, sexual awakening.
Ah, yes. The toilet story.
She talks about sitting on the toilet backward as a kid, feeling sensations she didn't understand.
It's quite vulnerable, that bit. It touches on that innocent exploration stage, figuring out your own body, especially when maybe no one's talking to you about it. It feels very universal, that kind of early confusion and curiosity.
She describes this feeling, this burning and longing that went on until she finally understood it years later. And the description of that moment, honey poured from my 14-year-old gash and I wept. It's incredibly visceral.
It really is. Intense language. It captures that feeling of release, of understanding finally clicking into place. The honey suggests pleasure, but the wept adds this layer of emotion. Maybe relief, maybe even sadness for the confusion before.
Yeah.
It's raw.
Very raw. And the photo paired with this text is that black and white shot. Someone underwater.
Yeah, submerged.
What's the connection there, do you think?
Being underwater, it often symbolizes going deep, right? Into the self, the subconscious.
Like introspection? Or maybe being overwhelmed by the feeling.
Could be both. Or
Right.
like a rebirth, a cleansing,
Yeah.
linked to this new understanding. Water carries a lot of symbolic weight emotions, the hidden self. It fits that theme of profound personal discovery.
And we should also mention the graphics we see repeated. The word SX in big letters and that X symbol.
Right, they pop up throughout, like visual anchors.
The SX is obvious, keeps the theme front and center. But the X, what's that about?
It's more ambiguous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Could be X marks the spot, like a target. Or the unknown, the forbidden X.
Yeah.
Maybe just a design choice. It kind of leaves it up.
It adds to the overall look, for sure.
Definitely part of the book's visual identity.
And we started by talking about the cover, that metallic package, the close-up of Madonna's face, the title. Super striking.
Oh, yeah. Designed to grab you. That reflective surface, her direct gaze. It was confrontational. Put her right at the center of it all.
Unapologetic explorer, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And the title page, too, the design itself. Madonna stacked vertically, green letters over SEX in that specific font, plus all the credits.
Again, it reinforces that this is a designed object, intentional. Highlighting the team makes it clear this is a serious artistic production.
And you mentioned the visuals matching the text earlier, like with the foreword where she talks fantasies.
Right, and the image is that silhouette reaching for a bed frame.
Very direct link. Sets the scene, mystery, dreams, the bedroom as the space for these explorations.
Exactly. The visual cues are often quite strong working with the text.
Okay, so wrapping up our look at these specific pieces from Sex. If you had to boil it down, what are the big takeaways, the main themes jumping out?
For me, it's definitely the bold look at desire, all its different shapes.
Hmm.
Then there's that deliberate play between what's real and what's
The
fantasy.
blurring of those lines.
Yeah. And acknowledging how diverse sexuality can be, even contradictory sometimes. And finally, that really personal thread of self-discovery, understanding your own body, your own desires.
It really feels like these bits show a snapshot of a specific cultural moment, right? And Madonna pushing boundaries.
Absolutely. It was provocation, no doubt about it. Trying to start conversations, challenge how female sexuality was usually shown or not shown in the mainstream.
So maybe a final thought for people listening. When you look at these excerpts, what do they tell you about the conversation around sex and identity back in the early 90s?
Good question.
And maybe more interesting, how has that conversation changed since then? Or maybe, how hasn't it? Where are we still having the same debates?
Yeah, thinking about that interplay, the words, the images, how you react to it now versus how people might have reacted then,
Yeah.
it's all part of this much bigger ongoing story about sex and culture.